So highly recommend Declare Your Independence with Ernie Hancock. His website is freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, freedomsphoenix.com. It's a wonderful news source. Check that out regularly. I want everybody here to give a major round of applause for Ernest Hancock.
You know, my hesitation is we're here in the Fed rally, and I really want to share something with you guys. These guys don't matter. The concept that we are legislated into selecting how we trade with each other in voluntary adult contracts and exchanges and just wanting to, I want what you want, and that has more value to me than this thing I'm going to give you. And you go, hey, well, that thing you're going to give me has more value than the thing I want to give you. We're done. But the thing is that then you got this government thing comes in and says, we're going to tell you what that exchange is going to consist of. At the fundamental basis of what we do to survive, to live, it's got government in there. And they're at every level. One time when I first started to realize this is when I first got married in '86. My wife will kill me if I don't get that right. In '86, we were married here in Pennsylvania. She's a townie, Penn State, lived in State College. We get married, you have to sign a license, then we moved to Arizona. Well, then the rules changed. That contract that I signed in the most important, intimate contract of my life, it changed by me driving across the state line. Then the legislatures changed it while I'm married, this contract. I started to understand that Uncle Sam, it's like you're in a forced menage a trois on your wedding night. And it bothered me. I mean, wouldn't it bother you? Yeah. So if you start to realize this role that government plays in some of the most intimate, important relationships that you have, but it goes much further. It's every relationship you have with someone when you have an exchange. So in the Fed is not, they're just representative of something larger. The revolution is between the ears. The revolution is in you. The revolution, so you may use Federal Reserve notes to get your, trinkets and trash from whatever. But I'm not going to get on you every time you pull out $1 out of your pocket. That's not the point. As long as you understand it's wrong for someone to tell you what you have to use to trade with someone. We started something, we do a thing every year called the Freedom Summit. We've been doing it since 2001. Dr. Paul has spoken at 3 of them. So we knew way before what his rhetoric was going to be on the speaking tour of '08. 07, 08 speaking tour, that's how we looked at it. I haven't voted since '02. But in '04, I ran against John McCain for U.S. Senate. So they bring this stuff up. They go, you don't even vote. I go, oh, I'm so glad you brought that up. Want to talk about it? So the thing is this whole revolution, though, all the activism I've done, I've been a libertarian chairman in my county. I've run for Congress 3 times. I've run for Secretary of State twice. I ran against John McCain. I've run. I've supported. I've campaigned. I've traveled the country in search of one thing. The truth. I just want to know the truth. Tell me the truth. I'll prepare for it. I'll decide for it. I raised my 4 children. Yeah. My children are 21 to 25 right now. Girl, married. Boy, girlfriend. Boy, married. 2 grandkids I got. Yay. And a daughter, 21. She's my producer for the radio show Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock. You are never a prophet in your own land, I'll tell you that. And those of you that live at home or have friends or your parents or whatever, you are never a prophet in your own land. But it's changing, isn't it? Over the past few years, you have witnessed, been part of, what I have sought my entire adult life, was an embracing of the truth. And what is that truth? Well, I'll tell you one thing, it's not lies. There you go. Truth, what's the truth? We have a logo with a flower-throwing Banksy guy that did that, instead of a Molotov cocktail, it's a bouquet of flowers. He called me about a year and a half ago. I didn't know he was famous. I didn't know who this guy was. It wasn't until Adam Kokesh goes, yeah, you don't know him. Nobody knows him, you know. I don't know, he called me, because we had done the logo and we put underneath it, along with the revolution. That's how the revolution was known in Europe. When we did the Revolution March in Washington, D.C., and the first time a lot of you heard Adam Kokesh speak, you know, at that time they were doing simultaneous rallies in Europe, in France and Germany. The revolution's worldwide. It's always been worldwide. And that logo represents so much. And we put underneath, we know the truth. And people will go to me and they'll say, Ernie, truth? What truth? What's the truth? It's your truth. What truth? Well, first thing, it's not lies. I can tell you that, okay? They're not telling you the truth if they're lying to you. But I tell you, the truth is really exposed by the people that would ask me that question. What's the truth? Man, it's like, Curly in City Slickers. Life is about one thing. Well, what's that one thing? Well, it's for you to decide. What's your truth? I'm building up to the point that I really want to make with you guys is this. When I first started this and waking up in 1988, just had my 4th child, she's now 21, I was you guys. All you young people, here with your friends, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, just starting to come aware, been exposed to the truth, understand that something is terribly wrong. And you're looking for, a path. Well, you're pretty much on the path. There are people here that have blazed a trail for you that have, just like they blazed a trail for me. This concept of liberty has been around for a long, long time. And what they have done, they, them, those. I always say, who are they? Ernie, who's they? You're on the radio, who's they? They, them, those. Let me tell you who they are. There are those that just want to be left alone, and there are those that just won't leave you alone. They try and make it more complicated than that, and it's not. You just want to be left alone. So now, as I grow older, and I've been involved in politics, and I get to where you find someone like Dr. Ron Paul, that we had already known what his rhetoric was. And there was an opportunity for him to represent the truth. Something that we could go and say, this is what I believe. This is the path that I choose for me and my family and my friends. This is the light that I'm shining for you on the path so that you don't go down the dark side. The speaking tour of 07-08 woke up an entire new generation, Generation Next. And they ignored you. They did their best to ridicule. They did their best to demean. They did their best to hide. But it didn't work. And the more they did it, the more you came out. And you have the R's and D's fighting over, I can't even tell the difference anymore. And when they're arguing, it's just like, fleas arguing over who controls the dog. We are in control of our own lives. When Cairo started coming up in revolution, I understood what was going to happen. It doesn't matter who started it, what agency, what spark, what fuel, what they tried to do and change regimes. It doesn't matter who's behind it. But one thing that I knew, they weren't going to be able to control it. You have 80 million people in Egypt. 17 to 20 million of them live in Cairo. The rest of them in the Nile Valley there in a small area. 33% of the 80 million people are 14 years of age or younger. You cannot get away from that demographic. The youth are taking over this planet, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. The internet has opened up with whatever social media you want to use, has opened up the direct communication mind to mind for the first time in human history. What message is there going to be that comes out of that? That's the loudest. That's the most understood. That's the most resilient. What is the truth? The truth is that we own ourselves. That we are autonomous beings. We're a species that thrives on the idea that we don't have a governor inside our own head other than us. What we did is we took the philosophy of liberty and we had it translated into Arabic. You have a special editions on Freedom's Phoenix. We have Haria Phoenix, which is Freedom's Phoenix in Arabic. We have Arabic Facebook, Arabic Twitters. We took all the We Know the Truth and the guy throwing the bouquet of flowers, and we had it translated into Arabic. We Know the Truth. We sent it. We have thousands of DVDs of the philosophy of liberty going to Alexandria, Egypt, not Virginia, Alexandria, Egypt this week. What happens when your generation, being oppressed by dictators that they want to replace, but it's going to be the new U.S. State Department's version of the dictator? We know what's going to happen. They're just going to regurgitate all of these leaders, and then they bring in another one, be a newer shiny tie. You know, they'll be a little younger and hipper and, you know, have their BlackBerry or Droid, but they're the same. It's the next generation of we rule you. What happens when your generation around the world understands that all of a sudden it's about self-ownership, that they get to rule themselves? What happens? I don't know. And neither do the bad guys. That's what they're afraid of. And my whole adult life has been looking for people like Jordan Page, Adam Kokesh, you guys. I just turned 50. I'm not over the hill. I'm at the top of the hill. And it's a mesa that goes into infinity. I'm at the age now that I can start making some claims. I go to my kids and they hate this. I go, let me tell you what I know. Oh yeah, you think you know it. Well, you know what? You know, when you're young, you don't know everything. But I tell you what, your generation knows a hell of a lot more than I did. You are starting on the shoulders of so many people that have created a dream. You are the fulfillment of that dream. There has not been an opportunity like this in human history to where the truth has an opportunity to burn, to brand itself into the mind, the hearts of all of your peers across the planet. It's nothing less than that. They'll try and tell you it is, or diminish it, or it doesn't matter. But let me tell you what's going to happen. Dr. Paul is going to do another speaking tour. Whether he goes to makes it through the primary or the convention or becomes president is not even, not a concern of mine. I don't care. What happens is, now he has all of this generation and all of you that have the ability to spread the message as he has. Because Ron Paul's not going to be around forever. I'm not going to be around forever. And 20 years goes by like that, and you're not going to be around forever. How many minds can you free? That's what this is all about. But I'll tell you one other thing. We're at the point now, it's how many asses can you save? Because everything that we've been talking about, that this stuff is going, you know, a freed mind is great. And I've been hammering that for many years. But I tell you, there's a time when this starts crashing down, which is like now, that you're going to have to start worrying about saving your ass. And that's why these networkings, when people come together and you get to meet people, and you get to know how they are, not just online, but how they look and think and react, and how they can socialize, and who can spend years with in the bunker kind of thing. You know, who's going to plow? Who's the one that's got a strong back? Who's the one that's going to be able to feed themselves, maybe have some extra? Who are these people? That's what's happening now. I want to give you one website that it'll go to Freedom's Phoenix. It's called walletvoting.com. Wallet Voting. I got that site back in '03 because I knew when I first started doing radio, I could see what was coming. It was going to come down to how we trade with each other. I started buying these junk silver, these little dimes, pre-1965, 64 and earlier, 90% silver. When I got them, I was making a big deal. They were, you know, $1.10 or some $1.19 or something a piece. They're $3.33 now. That was just a couple of years ago. You want to see the end of the Fed? It's happening right now. When you see silver go from, ooh, it broke 20 to, ooh, it's going to break 50, when you see, what sign were you looking for? What did you think it was going to look like? The reason they have these revolutions in the Middle East now is because they're starving. You have 40% of the people live on less than $4 a day. When you have wheat goes up 120%, corn 80%, cotton, all the staples, metals, when it goes up, what is that a sign of? Is that these guys keep depreciating the value of the dollar, and the entire planet knows it. When you're starving, you don't want to starve anymore. That's why I knew there was no stopping what's happening. Because they're not going to be able to put food in their bellies. And to think that America is going to be immune to that means you haven't been paying attention. Vote. Don't vote. It's not the point. Because this crash that's coming is going to make all of that irrelevant. And the only thing that's going to be left is culture. The only thing that's going to be left is how you choose to interact with your fellow neighbor. And if you choose to use voting to make that process, fine. At least it's not bullets. Because I'm telling you, I know, this is what I know. It's going to get a lot worse. And we have to come together as a family as a species. Even the people that haven't woken up yet have to be embraced by us, especially them. We got to do what? Love them. It's a love-olution. That's what these guys hate. They want violence. They want you to go out and hurt someone. They want you to brandish your gun. They want you to fire bullets. They want that. They need that. What they can't contend with is the power of love. Start with yourself. Understand that you are in charge of you. You do that, all the other stuff just falls in place. I love you. I'm so glad you guys came. I'm so glad this generation has proven itself to be worthy of the freedom that's coming, whether the bad guys like it or not. Because tyranny doesn't last. It never has. And for the first time, we have the ability to understand what it was that enslaved us, and hopefully we won't make the same mistakes in the future. And by you guys chronicling and documenting and writing and understanding to the point that you can teach what this is all about is the best inoculation we have against it coming back in the future. Do you understand how powerful these ideas are? Ideas have meanings. Ideas are what runs the world. It is a culture and a heritage of the United States that we be the beacon to the rest of the world. They're looking to us. They're looking to you to do this. Not because of some geographic area, but because we did it before. And we're going to do it again.
Yeah!